There's just nothing.
Rangers have got nothing left. Welcome back to Fog Football. Kris Boyd did his best Ian Beale impersonation this morning, this afternoon, whatever you want to call it, because reality is this morning we still knew Rangers were bad, but the afternoon confirmed it. It was really poor. Kris Boyd, he said he didn't want to repeat himself. He did, but we're all repeating ourselves. It's always the same cycle that we go through with Rangers at the minute.
It's always the same old shit, because that's what Rangers give you. Week in, week out, they give you the same old shit. They give you the same old disappointing performances. They give you the same old drop points. And if you climb on, you get the same old excuses. So yeah, you do find yourselves, repeating yourself about all the time. Rangers this, Rangers that. Not good enough this, not good enough that. Behind Celtic this, behind Celtic that. Off the points here, off the points there. And that's the case because that's what Rangers give you.
Yeah, that is what Rangers give you. Boyd hitting at the fact that Rangers don't dominate games. They don't. You look at the Hibs game, Hibs were in it. You look at the Dundee United game, they were in it. I mean, Dundee United were really poor that day as well. But see, when you win 1-0, it's not dominating. Rangers don't. They don't excite. They don't dominate. They don't control. See, that even the game against St Johnstone, they win 2-0. The game against Dundee in the Cup, there was periods in that game where Dundee missed very good chances at 2-0, by the way. And if that, it can change the game. Rangers have rode their luck since they got beaten the Old Firm. Correct?
Absolutely.
They're just not convincing. I've said it and I'll say it again. The only two games this season I think were passable / good for Rangers was the game against Ross County. When you win 6-0, alright, 6-0 is 6-0. Can't really complain too much about it.
Even then, Ross County had chances in the first half.
No, they did.
And Butland pulled off a great save. And Rangers got a goal just on the brink of half-time to make it 2-0. Who's to say that game doesn't play out differently if it goes 1-0 in at the break?
Well, that's it. But the problem for me is that we've just got a bunch of people at the club that don't understand the club. Boyd's hinting at the fact that Rangers are miles off it. The sooner people realise this isn't working, the better. Is he referring to the manager there?
He could be referring to the manager. He could be referring to the players. I mean, he could be referring to who's left on the board.
Yes, I mean, that's the problem. I mean,
you
a normal club it might just be the manager, but it's everybody. It's just a cycle, man, of just repeating the same nonsense.
Yeah, normally sometimes with clubs you can point out who's the problem, but at Rangers it's like there's a lot of problems. As JC once said, 99 problems, but a league title ain't one.
Aye, league title certainly ain't one, but I mean, I just look at it and I just don't see where it gets better at the minute, man. I don't. You've got to get rid of Clement. Look at Jimmy Thielen. You try to tell me Rangers would be worse off this season if they had Jimmy Thielen in charge. Look at he's doing with a lesser budget, man.
Lesser budget, probably lesser squad as well.
Of course it's a lesser squad. But obviously, they're performing at the end of the day. There's a clear game plan. Not afraid to fucking go for it. He's actually done something that Clement can't do, and that's actually draw at Celtic. Draw at Celtic Park. I'm not going to pretend it's the greatest thing ever, but gee, actually look good at Celtic Park. But maybe there's a key difference. And I tell you what, I think there's been a lot of banter this season about Aberdeen will win the league, right? And then it was like, but they can get second. I don't think getting second's banter anymore. I think it's the reality. I think if Clement doesn't get sacked, Aberdeen will finish second. There you go.
It's went from Aberdeen could possibly challenge for second, and that's out the window now. It's Aberdeen are challenging for second.
Yeah.
There's no could anymore, or maybe. I think Aberdeen have cemented themselves as, I don't think they're favourites, but I think it's close.
I think if Rangers collapse, and I'm talking lose 4 games on the bounce, he will get sacked. I think that, if Aberdeen lose 5 games on the bounce, Jimmy Thielen's not in threat of getting sacked. You know what I mean? There's not a chance it's going to happen. But with Rangers, if you lose 4 or 5 with Rangers, that is insurmountable. That is going to just cause chaos. I'm looking at the next 2 games. If Aberdeen win against Dundee United, and I do expect Rangers to beat St Mirren, although I wouldn't hold my hat on it. If Aberdeen go 9 clear, after how many games would that be? 10. That's a quarter of the season. More than a quarter of the season. That's not good.
It's not good, but let's actually break down what Kris Boyd said.
Yes, Kris Boyd said, And I quote, some of the players put more effort into clapping at the end and saying sorry to the fans. People will think you're a broken down wrecker, but it's not been good enough. You might be winning games of football, but there's no intensity to the play. There is no sharpness. They don't create anything. It's more hope that they are going to score a goal. The substitutions don't impact games. They are miles off it. Everyone thinking, oh, here he goes again, another rant. It's the truth. The sooner that people realise this ain't working, the better. End of quote. I completely agree with Boyd. See this clapping, man, especially after the St Johnstone game. I think that. See, at the time, people were getting called out. Oh, you can't be. Well, I was getting called out because I called it pathetic. It was pathetic. We scraped past St Johnstone, man, and he's like, da, 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 da. Come on, man. No, that's actually, and he's right. They did put more effort into it. Look at the substitute. See, Casemiro. He looked absolutely brilliant against Malmo, but guess what? Everyone else did. Malmo were pish. The guy came on today, couldn't string a pass. David Watson gets brought on for Kelly, right? Who do we bring on? Kieran Doyle. Who would you rather at Hearts?
David Watson.
Kieran
100%.
Doyle has to be one of the shittest players in recent years, and that's saying a lot considering how much dross the Rangers are. He's pish.
I mean, David Watson's actually a good player with a big future ahead of him. Kieran Doyle's approaching 30 and never been good. Never will be good. Shite.
I'm actually kind of confused, to be honest.
Championship crap.
I'm actually kind of confused how bad he is. It's like, how was he starting for Norwich?
You know what, it was a weird signing because, I mean, I'll give Beale credit. His first two signings, I thought, that's pretty good. Raskin, Cantwell, and for that half a season, they were, especially Cantwell, I thought they were very good.
Yeah.
No, regardless of what you think about Raskin and Cantwell now, I mean, the first 6 months, when they were probably Rangers' two best players, and that along with Sakala.
Yeah.
They were Rangers' two best players in that that second half of the season. But then he gets into the summer transfer window, and I'm pretty sure Kieran Doyle was the first signing.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Yeah, it was the 24th of May when I was at the Hearts game. He announced it.
When you go from Raskin and bloody Cantwell to Kieran Doyle.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's absolutely tragic.
I mean, I remember times Cantwell was getting talked about as a £40 million player. He was linked to Liverpool when he was in the Premiership playing with Norwich, and I mean, he was good back then. I mean, Kieran Doyle's never been good. It was a weird, very, very, very weird signing.
Boyd went on to say, and I quote, "We said at the top of the show, Kilmarnock are a physical team and they will cause you problems. Rangers, there is just nothing. You look at Dessers, and I know it will always fall back in the striker when you're not scoring goals. You're going to be the one that is criticised, but he really doesn't get anything created for him either. We speak about Bajrami. There is glimpses where he comes in and looks good. Tierney might look good, but then they don't create anything." End of quote. So, again, right, see Kelly, you know what you're going to get with him. Cyril Dessers was absolutely awful today. See, look at Tierney. He got those 2 goals against St Johnstone like a couple of weeks ago before the international break. And it's like, if you think that he's going to automatically turn great because he scored 2 goals against St Johnstone, I don't know what to tell you, man. He's not. It's not going to happen. Then Chris Sutton chimed in. He was talking about the plastic pitch. Now, before we dive into Boyd's comments, right, see this fucking...
Everybody knows they've got a plastic pitch. It's the same shite every year. You have to play them... Normally you play them twice a year and you play them on the plastic pitch. They're not the only team that's had a plastic pitch. We've had other plastic pitches in the league. Can it make it more difficult? Yeah, but you know what? It's not a good enough excuse. You can't just keep saying, oh, well, it's alright if you lose against them or you draw against them because we can just use the plastic pitch excuse. I mean, I think that's bullshit.
Kelly are a good team, right? And yeah, plastic pitch may help them.
Kelly would cause problems on a grass pitch.
No, of course they would. No, it's a joke. Now, and Boyd pointed this out. He said, nah, the surface will play a part if you let it play a part. We have seen Celtic and Rangers come here and dominate games. We have. I mean, look at Celtic last year.
Did you not used to say that Real Madrid would struggle to beat Levy?
Tony Macaroni had to say that. Cold night in Levy.
Still standing by that?
I fucking am. Davy Martindale. Ex-druggy. Taking on Carlo Ancelotti.
I think you were on the drugs if you believed that Levy were going to beat Real Madrid.
I must have been wearing the number 9, but I mean, as for the pitch is pathetic, man. Everyone knows. I mean, you play Kelly twice at Rugby Park a season. Well, sometimes it might be once, right?
Get used to it.
Or 3 times even. Yeah, exactly. That's it, though. No, it is honestly... It's pathetic is what it is. It is honestly embarrassing, to say the least. But that's where we're going to leave it. Chris Boyd pretty much repeating the same stuff that he always does. So do we, but until Rangers fix their problems, you are just going to constantly repeat yourself. Won't you though?
You are when it comes to Rangers, but here at least this season might show us something different when we've got a different team potentially challenging for the title that can maybe actually do something. So we'll see.
We'll see. And you know what? I think everyone's welcome the challenge of Aberdeen. I don't think there's many. I mean, they look good.
Well, there's nobody else challenging, that's for sure.
Yeah. And we'll see how.
I mean, Rangers might be mentally challenged, but that's the only challenge they've got going, man. There's no title challenge, that is for sure.
No, there is no title. No, it's done. No, we were saying weeks ago, we got laughed at. I said there's more chance of Aberdeen winning the league because we don't know anything about them.
You don't know what they're capable of, whereas you do know what Rangers are capable of, and not much is the answer for
If
that.
Rangers were ever going to win this league title, they needed to win today. It's as simple as that. Simple as that.
Rangers aren't trailing Celtic 2-0 at Celtic Park and coming back and getting a draw.
No, they get beat 4-0.
So fair play to Aberdeen. Honestly, man, I can understand why people would have doubts, but see, after what we've seen yesterday, there can be no doubts anymore. If there's anybody going to offer a challenge to Celtic, it's going to be Aberdeen, based on what we've seen.
No, absolutely. And, yeah, long may the challenge continue. Anyway, guys, Rangers' problems are set to continue. We've put a poll up about Clement, so go vote on it. I'm sure that'll be fun, reacting to that. But anyway, till next time, peace.